Does MMA have better athletes than kickboxing? Welcome to Fight City Gym Talk. You are here with Eric Wallin, and I keep getting this question, Andrew Tate versus Jake Paul. Who do I think is going to win? I do have an opinion, and I'm going to answer that question with some questions. Let me ask you this. How about Andrew Tate versus Tyron Woodley in boxing? How about Andrew Tate versus Tyron Woodley again in boxing? How about this? Andrew Tate versus Anderson Silva in boxing. What was your answer to those questions? If you answered that Andrew Tate would lose to Tyron Woodley, would lose to Tyron Woodley again, and would also lose to Anderson Silva, then I think it's simple. That if you think Andrew Tate would lose to those three, then I don't see how you could then denote that he might win versus Jake Paul. Right? Do you follow my logic at all? Also, what has Jake Paul recently done? Well, he beat Tyron Woodley, he beat Tyron Woodley again, and then he beat Anderson Silva. If that doesn't answer your question, let me ask you this. Who was better at their sport? Was Anderson Silva better at MMA, or was Andrew Tate better at kickboxing? Like, who made a bigger impact on their sport? Who was better at their sport? Who was better in their craft? Personally, I think Anderson Silva was better in his craft at what he did. And maybe I'm just, like, Anderson Silva is a big reason I got into MMA. I was watching him and I was just like, oh, he's incredible. And I wanted to get into MMA because of Anderson Silva. So there's a soft spot in my heart for Anderson Silva. Let's go to someone that I'm not so emotionally attached to. Tyron Woodley. Was Tyron Woodley better at MMA than Andrew Tate was at kickboxing? Once again, I have to say Tyron Woodley was better at MMA than Andrew Tate was at kickboxing. Let me ask this. What has stiffer and tougher competition? Does MMA have better athletes than kickboxing? I think they do. Just my opinion, just personally. I think that if a lot of the guys that Andrew Tate fought were to kickboxers out of the UFC, I don't think they do very well. I think the caliber of athlete in the UFC is a higher caliber athlete than in the kickboxing world. Sorry, maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but I think the UFC has some high-level, top-notch athletes. So, with all that being said, that doesn't really mean anything. The only thing that really matters is who's going to show up. Who shows up on day of the fight? And I scoured the internet. I couldn't find any dates on when they might be fighting. They say sometime early 2023. So we don't really know. What really matters is who shows up. Personally, if I had to put money down, I would put my money on Jake Paul. I don't like Jake Paul. I don't care who wins. But just looking at facts, I have to go with Jake Paul. Andrew Tate has not, when I watch his sparring videos, when I watch his fights, he was good in what he did, but I didn't see greatness. Jake Paul hasn't done anything that we see greatness either. And there's even debatable, like, did Anderson Silva take a dive in that fight? I mean, there's a lot of back and forth on this. The wild card that we can also talk about if people are being bought, can Jake Paul afford to buy Andrew Tate? And does Jake Paul actually get to fight someone that can't be bought? I don't know. Did Anderson Silva get bought? Did Tyron Woodley get bought? I don't know. These are questions we all have to speculate, right? Like, we can't just watch some YouTuber come out of nowhere and beat ex-UFC champs and be like, well, that was absolutely legitimate. We all have to wonder. is that a crime if I wonder? It makes me wonder, for sure. So, anyway, according to my logic, I think Tyrone Woodley and Anderson Silva were better in their craft than Andrew Tate was at his craft. So if we follow that logic, I think Jake Paul's got an easy win over Andrew Tate. I also don't know that Andrew Tate can be bought. So maybe we see a fight unlike we've ever seen before. I don't know. I just keep throwing weird questions in the air. Maybe this helps settle the debate in your mind. I don't know if the debate is even settled in my mind. But thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.